Hi everybody, it's Gardener Julia here. First, I want to welcome you into the garden. I'm in the Menlo Park garden today. Today is our last virtual garden lesson of the year. Woohoo! Thank you so much for participating in all of our virtual learning this year. I know it's been really different and at times hard year for many of us this year. So thank you for sticking with me. For our final lesson today, we are going to focus on saying thank you and goodbye for the year. We are going to read a land acknowledgement so that we can think about all of the people who've lived on this land since before remembered time. Then we're going to do a few simple art projects to show that we care about the garden. Let's get started. Today, our sign language word is community. Can you tell me what community is? A community is a group of living things that live and work together. Community can include things like your friends, your family, or your neighbors. Thinking about the garden, who do you think is a part of the garden community? It can include all of the things that we find in our garden: flowers, leaves, trees, insects, worms, birds, bees, and everyone who calls the garden their home. Insects, animals, and plants need community just like we do in order to stay healthy and strong. Now that we know what community means, let's learn the sign language word for it. It goes like this: community. Community. Can you try it with me? Community. Let's take a look at our garden community and figure out who is in here right now. Wow, there are a lot of living things in the garden right now. They are all working together to help our garden grow so beautifully. There's a lot growing in our school garden right now, but our school garden hasn't always been here. Over the last several years, many teachers and parents and students like you all have been working to care for your school gardens. Even though there hasn't always been a garden here, this land and space that our school garden and our school is built on has been here for a very, very long time. I like to imagine what it would look like if there was no school building here or houses or buildings all around me. What would this land look like without all of this stuff that has been built here? Can you take a moment to try and imagine what would Portland look like if there were no houses or buildings around you? So I have something to share with you all called a land acknowledgement. A land acknowledgement is a statement that helps us learn about the first people who lived on and cared for this land that we're on. They're the original communities that called this land their home, long before any of us were here. We are grateful to grow this garden on the lands of the indigenous peoples of Portland, the people who have lived here for thousands of years. These Native people live here now and have lived here and cared for this land in partnership with the soil, water, and living beings since before remembered time. We know that it is our responsibility to show kindness and respect for all living things each and every day. We show respect by learning about Native people, plants, and ways of growing, and by taking care of the soil, water, and all living things in the garden. As I just read, we have an important responsibility to continue caring for this land. Let's take a moment to close our eyes and say a silent thank you to the first people of this land. Take a moment, close your eyes. You can take a deep breath and say a silent thank you. Next year, when we're all together, we will read our land acknowledgement so that we can be reminded of our responsibility to the garden. Can you think, what are some ways that we can show that we care about our garden? We can water, weed, pick up trash, plant seeds, smell flowers, listen to our birds, and feel happy inside for all of these living things in the garden. Last month, we learned all about insects and other bugs that we can find in the garden. Take a moment to think, if you could be any insect in the garden, what would you be? Are you a mason bee or a butterfly, a ladybug? Or are you something else? Can you turn yourself into that insect? I'm gonna be a ladybug. Can you show me all the body parts that you have? Can you show me your 6 legs? Can you show me your exoskeleton? Yeah. What about your antennas? Let me see those antennas. And of course, we can't forget about your wings. Beautiful. All right, with your insect in mind, can you tell me, how do you move around? Do you fly? Do you crawl? Do you bury yourself in the soil? What do you think your insect might eat? Does it eat nectar or pollen? Does it eat leaves? Does it eat things that it finds in the soil? And where do you live? Do you live in the trees? Do you live underground? Do you live amongst the leaves of plants? Take a moment to think or ask an adult about how your insect might act. So we have a ton of insects that live in our garden, right? They are often very small and sometimes they need help with protection. We can help our insect friends by building things called bug hotels. Our bug hotels can act as shelter for our insects so that they can find food or rest or care for their babies, or so that they can stay safe from predators. We're gonna take a moment to build some bug hotels. You can do this in a park or garden or in your backyard. You can use simple and natural materials that you find from all around. Rocks, sticks, leaves, flowers, anything that you can find and you think would be helpful for your insect. You can ask an adult for help. You can look in a book or on the internet to see if there's anything specific that your insect might like. Here is my bug hotel. I made a little roof for them to maybe protect them against the rain or hot weather. I left them lots of bark chips because I know that some insects like to hide in things like bark chips or rocks. I left them lots of baby kale leaves because I know that many insects like to eat baby kale. And I left some calendula flowers in here just in case there are some bugs who like to drink nectar or they just want some nice decoration. If you make a bug hotel at home, make sure to take a picture of it so me and your teacher can see it. Before we wrap up, I'd like to know what you want to grow in the garden next year. So take a moment to think about what types of plants and vegetables your family likes to eat at home. Or you can think about some plants that make you happy and bring you joy. Once you have an idea of something in your head, you can draw a picture of it. All right, my friends, it is just about time for me to go. Right behind me, I'm going to plant a sunflower seed for all of you to commemorate our school year together. Hopefully in the summer or the fall, you will be back and you will be able to see the giant sunflower that I planted for all of you today. Here's one more sign language word. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today and all year long. And a big thank you to the garden. Happy summer, my friends. Bye.